Hi everyone, so in this tutorial we're going to make a really elegant sort of wall art, and we are going to use the flowers that I created in the previous tutorial. So and this wall art I created with like a light pink background or this really cool kind of mottled red background. But to start off with, I started off with simply taking those two flowers that I made on the previous tutorial, and then I made two more just basically the same, but I wanted to just have a little bit of variety. So if you can see here, I believe we made this one and maybe this one in our tutorial, and I just made two similar using the exact same techniques, but I just didn't want them all to be the same. So on the other one, I made a red leaf here in the center and no sparkles on this part, and then I created a little sparkle on there. So they're all the same. I mean, they all have a similar style, but they're not all the same. And then what I wanted to do was create a nice composition and have like a bit of a flow here. So as you see, I have them alternating the ways they go, and it creates kind of a nice flow. So that's what I started with. So I've already done a lot of the work, but now the idea is to turn these flowers into a composition. And I'm going to use the same colors from my April Flowers color collection. And the good thing about the color collections that I make is I give you the color palettes. So like one of the things about creating art is deciding what colors to use, and that can really slow people down and really stump people. And sometimes you're like, what color should I use? I don't know. But that's the good thing about the color couture is that I've given you a color scheme already to work with, so you don't have to make those decisions. So to start off with, I just filled in this layer with my paint bucket, and I just went over here to the paint bucket, and I actually took this color from over here in my solid color palettes, and I think it was a little bit dark whenever I put it down. Yeah, that was a little bit darker. So sometimes, even though I give you color like solid colors, you might just adjust them a little bit. So, I just made this lighter and then painted it on there, and just until I got it just how I wanted it. So that was good. So that's where I started with. And then now I wanted some sort of movement to pull your eye through this composition here. So what I did was create this sort of brush strokes behind them that kind of ties it all together. And let me just zoom into a good level here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've got the background, we've got the flowers, and we're just going to recreate this. So that's basically it. So let me just look at it one more time. Okay, so I'm going to make a new layer because I'm going to recreate this. And I'm going to go over here to my Photoshop mixer brush, and I'm going to pick brush number 4 again. And let's go to my wet paint palettes, and I'm going to upload this light pink one. So I'm going to option click to load those colors into my brush. And then I'm going to make the brush bigger. Yeah, I think I want it a little bit bigger. Let me see how it was here. Yeah. Okay, so, and I have my brush smoothing on quite a bit because, yeah, I don't think I need it to be 100. I can pull it down to about maybe 30, but I kind of just want to pull from the top and kind of make this sort of S curve here. And that looks a little janky there, so sometimes you're going to have to do it more than once. And sometimes that brush smoothing can really slow you down. And we are working on an 8x10 surface here, so sometimes you have to take it a little smooth. So that's good. I'm not going to worry about it being just perfect. I can kind of pull on this a little bit more. And you can always redo it. Sometimes I redo them a few times. But I know I'm going to add some more strokes, so I'm not going to worry about it being perfect. So I've got the main one. And let's see what I did. Okay, now I get some more. Yeah. I've got the main one. I'm going to duplicate that layer just so I kind of create a backup. And then I will, let's see here, what color did I? Oh no, I used the pink. Okay. So I'm going to create these little offshoots like I did on that other one. So I'm going to take my brush size down just a little bit, and then I'm going to just pull like this. Yeah, okay. Might take it down a little bit more. And you can just play with it until you get it right. And it looks like I need to pull up my brush smoothing because it looks a little janky. So Just gonna go like that, and let's see here. Actually, no, I go like this, kind of pull it down into that brush stroke. That's good for the first one. And then the second one, yeah, I kind of want to go like this and pull it into that bottom here. So I'm just going to go like so. There we go. So that's good. I'm happy with that. And now I want to have the red accents. Okay, they're both on the left side. All right. So now let's go over to my wet paint palette. Option click over the red to load that color up. And now I'm going to I'll go ahead and make another copy of that layer. I like to kind of keep, so I can go back in case I mess it up. Although you can always undo it, to be honest, but sometimes I like to change my mind or something. So I'm going to go along this offshoot here and pull down. And I really just need to pull down until I get into the pink. That's good. Okay, that looks really cool. I'm very happy with that. And now I'm going to just do it over here. And there we go. And I kind of want it to disappear. Well, I'm going to pull. You just kind of play with it until you get it just how you like. That looks good. I'm happy. And now I've kind of brought all this together with these brush strokes and with this brush stroke and created a real composition and some movement and everything. And then like here, I might just turn this a little bit if I want. It's all right. Doesn't have to be perfect, so I can just move this a little bit. But now I've got my composition and now it's lovely and it really all goes together and I like that. And then for the other option, as you know, I created an option where it has got this red, this mottled red sort of effect here. And what I did was, let's create a new layer. I got my pattern stamp tool, and which brush did I grab? Yes, I grabbed Palm Beach Garden Party brush, excuse me, number 2, number 2. And I actually took the flow down to 36% because I wanted, and I used my Impressionist palette that comes with this collection, number 12, which is the same kind of red. And I had created this background and I painted it in like this because I was kind of playing with this idea of wanting a sort of watercolor background. And you can leave it like this. And now I'm just pulling my brush over here to fill this in, which is good. And why I took down the flow from 100 is sometimes if you want the color transitions to look more smooth and not like as rough, you take down the flow and then it'll look more smooth, the color transition. I'm going to create a new layer here and show you. If I take the flow back up, then the colors is more dramatic. So it gives it basically a softer effect. And I did that and I was like, that's okay, but the other part is so smooth and creamy. I'm like, it looks a little disjointed. And I could have still played with it, but what I thought I'd do is I would give it a blur. So you still have these dark areas and light, so it gives it quite a mottled effect, but it's going to match the rest of the painting better. So I went over here to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I took it up. You can just play with it. I took it up to 85, but as you can see, you can play with this until you get the effect you like. But I liked it right about 85, somewhere in there. And that kind of gives it a smooth effect that matches the style a little bit better. And yeah, I think it looks nice. I think it looks like a cool option. So that way you've got your pink background and then you've got your red background, and it gives it that little bit of interest with the modeling, the mottled effect, and it's not all like one color, and I think it's really interesting. So that is how I turned those flower illustrations into a real composition and a work of art. And if you're an All Access member, you can download those flowers and create your own composition and actually, create items for sale. And I created this, and you saw it wasn't that hard. And you can put this on Etsy or do whatever and sell it as a poster, or a fine art print. So hopefully you enjoy the tutorial, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Ooh la la.